Hello again, everybody. Comic Book Hangover. Talking about new release comics that I picked up this week, as well as some older books from my collection. Now, this week I'm not going to be doing a portion of the video for my wall. What I'm going to end up doing is I'll show you what I'm going to put up there, but then I'm going to take a picture of the wall and I'm going to put it up on my Instagram page. So in the link in the description below, I'll put a link to my Instagram account. So if you want to check out and see what the wall looks like, go ahead and click on that link. It'll take you to my Instagram page, and you can check it out. You can also check out all the other stuff that I post on there. It's mostly comic books. Every once in a while, I think really outside of comic books, the only thing I post on there is pictures about my little boy. So just jump into it. First, I want to show a book that, as I've said numerous times before, my LCS does weekly raffles where they will give away a book. If you purchase a first issue or one of the selection of books that they have listed down at the store, you'll get a raffle ticket, and that raffle ticket will enter you for a chance to win one of a number of comic books. This is the one I got from last week. This is Detective Comics 1017. I just thought the cover was kind of cool, so I figured, I'd go for it, try to win it, and I did. So I don't really actually read detective. I just read Batman proper, but the cover was pretty sweet. So I figured, what the heck, why not? So moving on, let's get into the reprints that I grabbed this week. There were a couple of them from DC, a couple of dollar comics. Justice League JLA Year 1, number 1. And this is kind of nice because this feels like a thicker book. So I haven't read it yet, but again, as with all the dollar books I pick up, this is on my list to read. But I grabbed JLA number 1. Got Swamp Thing 57. I really like that cover. That is a pretty sweet cover. Now this one I think was put out because it has Adam Strange in it. Is the new Strange number 1 came out as a 12-issue maxi series that DC just started. So they kind of put this out to go along with that. They also did this facsimile edition, Mystery in Space number 75. Again, because Adam Strange has a new series out, so DC likes to prop up the newer stuff, especially with characters that you really haven't had a whole lot of screen time, so to speak. They'll do this sort of stuff to kind of give them more exposure so people can find out a little bit more of who they are. From Marvel, the only true believer that I could see this week that came out was a reprint of Avengers number 133. It's an early appearance of Mantis. So, pretty cool. Now for the regular books that I grabbed, I actually only grabbed 2 new books this week. First one is going to be Doctor Doom number 6. This is going to be the final issue for the series that I pick up. I grabbed the first 6 issues. There was a couple of really good covers. There was one issue that really stood out to me. The rest of them have just been kind of, I have no idea what they're doing with this book. Doom isn't acting like Doom. I don't know, this is not what I want and what I expect when I see Doctor Doom having a book. I am a bigger fan of the Doom 2099 series because that to me is more of what Doom should be. So that's the last issue for that series. Now if you like the series, great. I mean, it does have some great covers. The art is okay. Just for me personally, the characterization I just didn't really care much for. So I'm dropping it after this issue. One book that I'm not dropping though, Batman. Got issue 90. This is the first full appearance and sort of a flashback story / quasi origin, I guess, of the Designer, another new character that's been introduced recently, along with Punchline. Now, the weird thing with this one is the Designer that they're talking about in here may or may not be the actual Designer because of what happened. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but because of what happens in this one, I'm beginning to wonder if the Designer is not so much a person, but a concept. So we'll see. So those actually were all the new books that I picked up this week. So the other books that I'm going to be putting up on my wall from deep within my collection, X Factor 43. Really nothing spectacular about this book. I picked it up because I like the cover. Celestials on the cover will always get my attention. So I picked it up only because I liked the cover. And I think it was like $1 book or something like that. Evil Ernie. This is Pieces of Me. Chromium cover. Signed by Polito. Certificate of Authenticity. Chaos Comics back in the day. So many variant covers. And this was just one of numerous variant covers. I actually have 2 long boxes full of Chaos books. And from Marvel, also, the first issue of Marvel Comics Presents I ever picked up, issue 90. This was Ghost Rider and Cable. This is when Ghost Rider first started becoming the co-headliner for the series. This is a flip book back in the day, so you'd have two small segments on this side, and then you flip it over, and there's two small segments on the other side. Wolverine was the other headliner character, and they did Ghost Rider. This was also my introduction to the art of Sam Keith, who at first I did not like, but now I have very much an appreciation for his artwork. And lastly, from Marvel, Sleepwalker #1. Now this is kind of cool. Brett Blevins, artist on this, is going to be at the Motor City Comic Con. Now, provided we had the Motor City Comic Con this year, which is, I guess, could be considered endowed with the whole coronavirus thing going on. But if we have the show and if he shows up, I will actually finally get this book signed. So I'll have this one signed. Then I want to get Darkhawk #1 and my Ghost Rider #1 signed by the creatives that were on it. I know he did a couple of issues of Ghost Rider, but this is the one issue that I want to get signed for him. It's one of my copies of the first issue of that series. So this last one here, this is a great example of what I always say in my videos is try something new. Go for a book that you normally wouldn't read. Try it out, try something new. You never know, you may end up with a new series, a new franchise of books or whatever that you're going to really enjoy. This was a book that I picked up only because I liked the cover. And what ended up happening was, after I picked up the book, didn't read it, I liked the cover, and then a week or two later I had a very, very small week, really had nothing to read, so decided to read it, and ended up sticking with it from beginning to end. And that is Fables #1. This was a great series. So I'm getting all the Fables, the prose books, the Peter and Max. I have both the hardcover and the paperback. I've got the 1001 Nights of Snowfall. I've got the Encyclopedia, all of Jack of Fables, the Cinderella miniseries, the Fairest sort of maxi series, short-lived ongoing. But the entire thing was so much fun. And this is actually a book that I even will buy in trade. I don't have all of them, but I'm slowly collecting them in trade because I want to go back and reread them. I just want to have to go through and open up, over 200 books so I can reread the entire Fables franchise. So I want to go through it again from beginning to end, but I don't want to open up all those issues because that's a lot of books to read. So those were my books for this week. Really not a whole lot of not a whole lot to really write home about. Most of them, the books that I picked up this week were reprints. Batman, great as always. Looking forward to seeing where that's going to go. The Joker seemed to kind of mess things up with the designer. So this is a really interesting era for Batman. And with Dan DiDio now leaving DC, I'm kind of hoping that their whole 5G nonsense, their reboot, either does not happen at all, or if they want to still do it, make it an imprint, sort of like Marvel's MC2. Back in the day where they had Spider-Girl and J2 and Wild Thing and American Dream and all those other characters that were loosely related to the modern day Marvel characters. Do something like that. That way you can keep the good stuff and you can have the unnecessary reboot stuff as its own separate thing. And if that becomes sort of like DC's version of Ultimate Comics, great, all the better. If it brings in more readers, awesome. But I'm hoping that this run of Batman continues as it goes now. It's supposed to go up to issue 100 and then stop and then restart from #1. If that's still the plan, I'm only going to go up to issue 100. So I have no interest in getting another Batman #1. So at least 10 more issues for me. I also grabbed this. My first one of these sort of gimmick boxes. I don't know what you call them, but I'm going to call it a gimmick box. It's the first one of these I ever picked up. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and it's already full of Power Rangers books. So I may need to grab another one of those soon. The other one I want to grab is Ghost Rider, because I'm a big Ghost Rider fan, and I've got quite a few Ghost Rider books. It's going to take at least 2 of these boxes for my Ghost Rider comics. So anyway, that was my haul for the week. A very, very small haul. Like I said, 2 new books. What about 4 or 5 reprint books? and then some classic stuff from my collection. So again, thank you for watching. Again, I'll be taking a picture of my wall, posting it on my Instagram. I'll put the link in the description down below, so you can go ahead and check that out. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. Like I said, I'm always posting comic book stuff on there. I got a pretty sizable collection, so I'm always trying to post stuff on there. And yeah, again, with my channel here, like, subscribe, comment, and yeah, let's get a conversation going. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next week.